Hello, this is Mr. Green Thumbs. We are in La Follette, Tennessee, and we have a major landscape renovation going down. We have a bunch of tree work that needs to be completed today. We have some cross tie steps that's going in. And then of course, we have a bunch of landscape beds that we're gonna install around this whole house. So I'm gonna take you through and show you the areas that we're gonna be focusing on so you can see before and after. So this large evergreen's gonna go. It has a big dead spot here around this mailbox. Once this thing is out and the stumps are ground down, then I'm gonna install a landscape bed, and it's gonna have some shrubs, perennials. They're gonna be very vibrant in color, oranges, yellows, reds. Once I have all my mulch in, it's gonna make those plantings pop. And it's gonna look really nice as you pull up this driveway here. And of course, to all the passersby who travel down this little country road. So we have some half-dead trees throughout this property. All these are coming out. Once we get them out, we're gonna grind the stumps down, and there's tons of dead wood. It just looks horrible. So once these are out, this place will be in much better shape. This one's going, and there's a huge tree there. This thing has a bunch of dead wood in it, and it's way too close to the driveway. So this is gonna go as well. It's growing into this fence line, as well as that tree over there. So that's gonna tremendously improve the way that this property looks once we can get all these big trees out of here, get the stumps ground down. This driveway has a bunch of weeds in it. Half of it's washed out. We're gonna come through, regrade this entire driveway. We're gonna compact it down, and then we're gonna put a nice fresh coat of gravel on it to dress this thing up. We have some things like this here, some old unsightly stumps. One, this is a major safety issue, and two, it looks terrible. So we're gonna get this thing ground out, and we're gonna get it out of here. I'm gonna put in some landscape beds around the whole house. Again, the beds are gonna feature very vibrant perennials and shrubs, oranges, yellows, reds. It's gonna look amazing once all these plants get in here. I'm gonna till all this up, put in some nice deep bed edges, and then once that brown mulch gets in there, everything's gonna pop, and it's gonna set this area off nice. On each side of my porch, I'm gonna install some patio stones, and I'm gonna create some nice planters for the customer. They're gonna feature high quality annuals that's also red, orange, yellow, and it's really gonna look nice as you walk up to the doorway and come in and out of this front porch. This is the only tree on the property that we're gonna keep. One, because it's in really good shape, and it just looks nice. The customer needs some shade in their yard. This tree is gonna be limbed up. It has a lot of branches that are growing downward. We absolutely do not want that. So we'll get these all cleaned up, and that'll look much better itself. We have an old perennial bed here. I'm gonna take all these perennials out, and I'm gonna transplant them to the beds around the house, because obviously I'd never throw any plants out. They've been here way too long. 30 plus years is what the customer told me. So I will find a good spot for these little guys. I'm gonna take out all this wood, and then we are going to install cross tie steps leading from the bottom of this carport all the way up to the top where it levels off there. And then we're gonna do a nice border around them, and then we'll put some landscape beds around the steps, and that's gonna enhance this area nicely. So my cross tie steps are gonna start here. They're gonna go up until that area kind of levels out. And then I'm gonna do a boulder border all the way down and surround the steps. And then I'm gonna put some landscaping beds in on this side of the steps, and as well as that side. Once my cross tie steps are in, and I have my border in place where it levels out, I'm gonna get some flagstone, and I'm gonna make some nice stepping stones that start from here and will lead you all the way to the front porch. And in this whole area, this will be a matching bed to the other side. So I'm gonna install a landscape bed that spans this whole entire length, leading to the other side of my cross tie steps. And then it's gonna be filled with, again, oranges, yellows, reds, something that's gonna make a bold impact in the landscape. Another major problem on this property that we face is the turf grass. It's very thin. It has a lot of weeds in it. So I am going to cut this thing down super short, and then we are going to overseed it, put down some nice organic fertilizer, and we're gonna get the turf grass rocking and rolling. And that in return is gonna set all of our plantings and all of our hard work off and just make this property look much better. So between all the tree work, all the trees getting cut down, all the stump grinding, all the new landscape beds being installed, the turf grass renovations, the cross-tie stone steps, we have a lot of work to accomplish here in about 3 to 4 days. So we are going to get going. We have a lot to do, and I'm going to take you through step by step and show you how we do things. Hope you enjoy. Now that we got all the small trees out of the way, we're going to get rid of the big ones. And just like that, all those unsightly trees are out of here. Next step is going to be stump grinding. We'll get all these nasty old stumps out of here. And then we're going to move on to the cross tie steps and border installation. That's going to be fun. All right, guys, so we got all the stumps grinded out. Now we're gonna have to go through and clean up all this sawdust, and then we're gonna get going on the cross tie steps. So I'm gonna start cleaning this old landscape bed up. There's a lot of perennials in here. I'm gonna start digging them up, and I'm gonna just kind of put them throughout these new landscape beds that I create. There's a lot of wood that needs to go around the edge. I'm gonna haul that out of here. And then I'm gonna bring my stones over, get them stationed here. And then once I get all this cleaned out, all this wood gone, all these plants dug up, I'm gonna start laying my cross tie steps in, and we're gonna do some excavating. So all these old perennials in here, I'm gonna go ahead and get them out. I'm gonna put them someplace for now until I can find their new little home in my new beds. And this is all that wood that I gotta take out. I'm gonna haul that out of here, get this thing ready, because this is where we're gonna be putting in our cross tie steps and our boulder border. So the cross tie steps are gonna go here, and they're gonna end right about where that mini excavator is. And then on the sides is where we're gonna lay our boulders. That's gonna look super nice. And then we'll have all these older plants kinda planted in various places that I think will look good in all my new landscape beds. And then I'm gonna come in and add some new plant material as well. So it's gonna be a nice mix of older perennials and new perennials and shrubs. So I also went down to our local nursery today, and I picked out some really nice decorative stepping stones. I'm gonna put these at the top of the steps. So that way, once the customer gets done walking up those cross tie steps, they're gonna have some beautiful stones to step on, and it's gonna create a beautiful little pathway. And I'm loving the color of these. The color's gonna like kind of match the color of those cross ties, because they're kind of like a gray in color. So that's gonna look super cool. And then these are the stones that I'm gonna set my planters on. So once I get my stones installed on each side of the porch, then I'm gonna set my flower pots on top of these. And that color is gonna look cool with those red, orange, and yellow annuals. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Look at the color of that amarilla. That is awesome. That's like blood red. Isn't that cool? Perfect bulb with perfect roots. I'm gonna find a great place for him in the landscape, that's for sure. All right, now I've got everything out that I wanted. We're gonna go ahead and start on the cross ties finally. We're gonna get these steps in place. We're gonna notch it out, get it leveled, put a nice base down to make sure that there's nothing that sinks. And then once we get everything notched out, leveled, we get our base in, Then we're gonna start laying the ties in. Last cross tie, we decided to go with a 5-step landing at the end. That's gonna look good. The last one, I can't believe it's in. This was a challenge. Now we gotta build the sides up with dirt and install our boulders as the border. We're gonna put boulders on each side of this walkway. And that's gonna look incredible. Especially once I get some landscape beds around it too. Day 2, we are back on the job here in La Follette, Tennessee. We have a busy day ahead of us. It is going to be just as complicated as yesterday was. Today's goal is to get all of our landscape beds put in around the house. We're also going to be laying boulders around our cross tie steps. We're going to create a nice border utilizing those boulders. And then once we get done with that, we're going to start working on the driveway. We're going to regrade it and put in some fresh gravel. I'll begin the process by tilling all this grass up, getting all the weeds out, putting in some nice deep bed edges. My bed is going to start at the corner here and wrap around till the end of the house. There's going to be a matching bed on this side. I'm going to start here at the corner of the porch, come all the way down, and the bed is going to extend towards the end of these freshly laid cross tie steps. This turned out great. And then I'm going to put some boulders there at the bottom to prevent all my mulch from washing out. Our boulders are going to line each side of these cross tie steps. I'm thinking it's going to be more narrow up top, and we're going to widen out the boulders as we get down towards the end. And then we have to smooth all this out, backfill this area to make sure that it's nice and level with the lay of the land. And this driveway, horrible shape. Bunch of weeds in here. We're gonna regrade it, smooth it out, compact it, add more gravel, and freshen this driveway up. So, let's get started. This ought to be fun. All right, so I just got done shopping at the nursery, and we're gonna be getting our plants in the beds today. So I just want to show you what I picked out that I think is gonna look really nice for the space. You know, the customer wanted orange, reds, yellows. So that's the colors that we went with, and I found a lot of nice plants in here that's really gonna look good in this landscape. So for the bones of my bed, I'm gonna put these guys in the back. This is called Obsession, and it's a Nandina. And it's by the Southern Living Plant Collection. This thing's hardy to zones 6 to 10. It requires medium amount of water. It's pretty drought tolerant, heat tolerant. That's why I chose it, because there is no irrigation in these beds. its growth rate is moderate to fast, so it's going to get pretty big quickly. And it prefers well-drained soil, but I've seen these guys survive in clay all throughout the South. We shouldn't have any problems with this. This shrub is pretty hardy for the most part. And as far as pruning goes, there really isn't too much pruning required with these. If anything, maybe a little shape up once a year. So this thing is going to sustain itself. It's very low maintenance, heat tolerant, drought tolerant. And just look at the foliage on this. This thing's deep red, light greens, but in the fall, it's going to light up this landscape. This thing has awesome fall color. So that's going to be in the back, and that's going to give me some structure and some height to my garden beds. Now in front of these, kind of in the middle, I got candy corn spirea. This is by Proven Winners. And can you guess why it got its name? Literally looks like candy corn, especially in the fall. And the foliage on this hasn't even matured yet. It's going to get a lot deeper colors of those oranges, those browns, those lime greens, and not to mention, it's got flower buds on it. This thing's covered in flower buds. These are going to be like a bright fuchsia or like a hot pink. You can kind of see one starting to bloom out there. So not only does this thing have fine foliage, but it is absolutely gorgeous in the landscape. You add the flowers to this in the springtime, which is usually when it blooms. You just can't beat it. And I mean, it's tough as nails. It loves full sun, or it could even take part sun. Like I said, colorful foliage. This is a deciduous plant, so it will drop its leaves. Same with this Nandina. So it's not going to keep its leaves all winter, but from spring all the way till fall, it's going to look gorgeous. It will grow about 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide. Pollinators do love it when it starts flowering. Overall, this is going to be a great shrub. It's going to be very colorful. It's going to give the landscape a lot of interest. And I can't wait to see how nice it pairs with the darker foliage of some of these other shrubs. Around my mailbox out by the road, I went with some 9 barks. The foliage on this is just gorgeous too. This one flowers. It gives you like a deep red, paired with its super dark red, kind of brownish foliage. Hot red stems. These things are awesome. This variety is called Lady in Red. Its foliage is ruby red in color, hence the name. It's got clusters of dainty pinkish flowers with red berries that follow and persist well into the autumn. So this thing is going to put on a show from now all till autumn. It's pretty low maintenance. You prune it as needed, and that's why that I chose it. You know, again, I wanted all the plants in my landscape to be low maintenance, heat tolerant, drought tolerant, and not fussy. Now, just to add some height, I went with some emerald green arborvitaes. I'm just going to kind of put these in the corner of the house. I'm going to find a better location for these rose bushes. So I'm thinking the arbs I'm going to put in the corners on each side of the porch, just to create some nice focal points. This variety only gets about 10 to 15 feet tall. It stays nice and columnar, very narrow, and it is evergreen. So it's going to hold its foliage all winter. It's going to stay green all winter. This thing is low maintenance too. It does not require a lot of pruning. It pretty much maintains its shape all year round. Pests really don't tend to like these. So this is going to look really good. You know, like I said, it's going to add some height. It's going to be a nice focal point in our landscape. I'm going to plug some lantanas in the beds around my house because I'm a firm believer, you know, if you have shrubs and perennials, you need to incorporate some annuals in your landscape design because it just makes a complete package. And this is really what gives you your summer color, is these vibrant summer annuals. In this one, it's got all the colors in it that she loves. It's got the bright oranges, the reds, the yellows. This thing is going to be covered in flowers from now all the way till the autumn frosts knock it out. Bees and butterflies love this. It's gonna get about 12 to 14 inches tall, and it creates a nice mounding habit in the landscape. So that's gonna go in my beds with my other shrubs and perennials. Out by my mailbox, I'm gonna do some surefire begonias. These begonias get huge. Now this variety loves full sun. It's gonna be covered in these hot red flowers all summer long, and it's gonna get big. 30 inches tall. So I'm gonna put these guys in the back of my beds. So I'm gonna have some height, then I'm gonna have my middle, and then I'm gonna have my border. So this will be my height. You can't go wrong with that. Loves full sun, super drought and heat tolerant, tough as nails. I'm gonna put some sun patience. This is compact electric orange, and it is electric orange, isn't it? That is gonna look like fire in this landscape. And it's super low maintenance, heat, drought tolerant. A lot of pests really don't tend to like these. It will get fairly tall, about 18 to 24 inches. So it's gonna look really nice in the middle of the bed. I chose this because it's low maintenance, and I think that it's gonna look really good out next to that road. It's gonna attract a lot of attention, and it's gonna pair well with those red begonias. In the front of everything as my border, I'm gonna go with Super Tunia Really Red. This is a proven winner's variety. There is no deadheading required with this. It sustains itself. They require a little bit more water than the sun patience and the begonias, but still, I mean, this thing is tough as nails. Really the only thing that bothers them is budworms, so you gotta kind of keep an eye out for them. But other than that, you really can't go wrong. It's gonna look like a red carpet border all the way around that bed here in about a month's time from now. And then just on kind of the edges, I'm gonna put some Super Bina Peachy Keen. This is a really, really cool plant. It's a hot peach color. Everybody's gonna love this. This is probably one of my favorite summer annuals. And this thing is pretty pest resistant. A lot of pests don't like these. There's no deadheading required. So just like your Super Tunias, you don't have to get out here and pick all the spent blooms. It cleans itself. Once it gets done flowering, it knocks the flowers right off. And this thing will bloom from now all the way till the autumn frosts kill it as well. Now these are annuals. You got to keep in mind, these will not come back, but they will provide intense summer color. So if you're looking for intense summer color, something that is really bold and vibrant and stands out, like I said, incorporate some annuals in with your shrubs and your perennials, because they just go a lot longer and they leave a lasting impression. That's where you're gonna get your color. All right, I'm gonna start getting my plants laid out in the beds, and then once I get them exactly where I want them, I'm gonna go ahead and start popping them in the ground with my auger, because I am not digging in this clay soil by hand. All right, so before I dig this guy up and transplant him to a better location, I went ahead and pruned him because, one, I want to take him down to size, and I want this thing to have more flowers. So not only is it going to encourage this rose to grow and fill out, but my customer is going to get a lot more flowers, and it's going to look so much better when it's planted in that little corner next to the railing there. And I did the same thing to him over here because they were just really scraggly, out of control. I don't want that. I want this to fill out and be full of flowers. got my holes dug. The best way to plant these little flowers is to take your hand, grip it, squeeze it, plops right out. I'll keep my hand here so I protect the crown so I don't break my flower. I'll put my flower down in the ground, keep my hand steady so I can assure it's straight, and tuck the dirt around it. Be very careful not to break the crown, because if you break the crown, your flower will die. Once I get the soil around it, take my hand and do a diamond, go around it, give it a little tuck. That'll secure it in place. Good to go. All right, the plants are all in. It's time to mulch, my favorite part. All right, so for my planters, that's gonna go on each side of the deck rail. I'm gonna go with some coleus for my centerpiece. This thing's gonna look like a great big campfire when it grows and fills out. This is called El Brito. This is a proven winners variety. This can handle sun or shade, believe it or not. Most coleuses, they only tolerate shade, not the proven winners line. They love full sun, won't hurt them a bit. Second is going to be some Super Bells. This is called Prism Pink Lemonade. Gorgeous color on them. Nice two-tone. They do change colors as well. Some you'll get more yellows, some you'll get more pink, and some of them will be variegated like that one, yellow and pink. So I'm going to kind of put them on the edges. This one's just a yellow Super Bell by Monrovia. I'll put my Super Bells on the edges because they're going to trail and they're going to slightly mound. I have a double up red begonia by Proven Winners. These begonias tend to stay on the smaller side, but you get a lot of flowers with them. Nice chocolate colored foliage, double blooms, that's why they call it double up. This loves full sun or shade. You just can't go wrong. You know, they're drought tolerant, heat tolerant. They're the perfect plant. And then I'll put my El Brito in the back for some height. So I can't wait to see these fill in here in about a month's time. They are going to look amazing all summer long. So let's get them installed. All right, today is driveway day. We are getting all of the crusher run installed here. And then once it gets all laid out, then we're gonna take a compactor and compact it. Make sure it don't wash out. Should be very durable and hold up really well. It's looking great already. Looking forward to seeing it once everything gets compacted and settled into place. right, we're smashing it down. This gravel is going nowhere. Hopefully, right? Yeah, this thing's gonna get it all compacted. All right, so one of the last steps to our total yard transformation here is improving the lawn. And we have everything weed-eated really short. I'm gonna go through here and mow this down super short because I'm gonna start seeding my grass. So I want my seed to make good contact with the soil. Sometimes if the grass is really long, you will not achieve that. So it's very important that you mow the lawn down short, or if there's a lot of thatch, do a nice dethatch or aeration. But we don't have to do that for this property because you can see the soil throughout the yard. There really is no thatch. The grass is very thin. There's a lot of bare spots. So just a general overseeding is gonna work great for this home. I'm gonna start here with some tall fescue. This is a Scots variety. This stuff is great for the transition zone here in Tennessee. A transition zone is basically right in the middle. So in Tennessee, you can have cool season or hot season grass. This is more of a cool season grass, but because it's rated for this transition zone, we're right in the middle, it's gonna work out fantastic in this yard. This stuff is great. It's called Southern Gold. Again, it's by Scots. It has roots that grow very deep. It's very dark green in color. It kind of has like a waxy coating on the leaves, so that prevents against hypoevaporation, the sun burning it, pressures from insects, pressures from disease. So all around, this is probably some of the best grass seed that you can get in this area. So after we get it mowed, we'll go ahead and put that down. And then I have a starter fertilizer. This stuff is very high in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Now what the nitrogen is gonna do is, one, it's going to nourish my new seedlings when they emerge, and it's gonna grow the grass. That's what feeds the grass plants. And the phosphorus aids in the root development, so it's gonna ensure that the grass takes root and grows nice, deep roots. That's what we want. And then lastly, the potassium will kind of like prevent disease. It will strengthen the grass plants. It'll strengthen the structural walls of the cells. So the potassium is what protects it, the nitrogen is what grows it, and the phosphorus is what aids in the root development. So with all three of these things combined, this lawn should take off. It should look really nice. The last thing I'm gonna put down is this Millargonite here. It does have some nitrogen in it, but it has a lot of iron. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna make this grass super dark green in color, because that's what colors up plants. It turns them from light green to dark green. So a nice iron application will make this lawn pop. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start mowing it down, and then I will start the process with my seeding and fertilizer application. Okay, so now I got everything mowed and cleaned up. I'm gonna start my seeding process. I have two spreaders I'm gonna use today. I have my drop spreader, which is gonna give me a lot more control versus a rotary spreader. The rotary spreaders just fling seed all over the place. I do not want seed getting into my brand new driveway, nor do I want it getting into my brand new landscape beds. So I'm gonna use a drop spreader because it drops it down nice and even, super controlled, and the coverage will just be much better. Now I'm gonna use my rotary spreader for my fertilizer application because the granules are so big that it would jam up my drop spreader. And I'm really not worried about even coverage with fertilizer. I don't mind if it gets in the beds or on the driveway because I'll just blow it off. And it'll be much quicker with my rotary spreader. But we're gonna go ahead and get started here. The lawn has been overseeded and fertilized. I look forward to seeing how this thing looks in about 2 to 3 weeks from now. Now it's just going to be really important that the customer waters it once a day just to keep it damp. That's the goal. You don't want it soggy and wet. You just want your seed to be damp. So a couple minutes a day to keep it moist for about 2 to 3 weeks. 5 days has come and gone. And what a transformation. We totally flipped the exterior of this home. It looks nothing like it did when we first arrived. We started our project off by removing all the dead and unsightly trees, grinding all the stumps. Then we came through and put in new landscape beds, packed them full of gorgeous perennials, shrubs, and summer annuals. Those fiery reds, oranges, yellows, they make a bold impact in the landscape. That fresh brown mulch is making everything pop. We got our cross-tie steps in with our boulder borders. And then we improved the lawn. So we got very high quality grass seed down, a lot of fertilizer. That's gonna tie everything in and make things stand out even more. So we have had a very productive last 5 days. We got a lot accomplished. If you are interested in any of our services, whether it be landscaping, lawn renovations, excavations, landscape enhancements, tree removal, stump grinding, give us a call at 423-494-4114. We are Mr. Green Thumbs LLC. We are located in La Follette, but we service Campbell, Scott, Union, Claiborne, Anderson, Knox, Blount, and Sevier counties. So we'll come out, do a free estimate for you. We look forward to working with you. Now I'm going to take you around and I'm going to show you how everything turned out. I'll see you on the next one, friends.